Now, yesterday, hella NFL trades happened. It felt like the trade deadline was happening yesterday. That's how many trades were happening. Trade after trade. Cam Akers got traded to the Vikings. Roy Robertson Harris, he got traded earlier in the week, but it wasn't like what we saw yesterday. Amari Cooper to the Bills. Davante Adams to the Jets. Let me start off with probably the best trade out of the two. Amari Cooper to the Bills. This is a huge trade for Josh Allen. I feel like, the Bills knew they need more playmakers. They knew they weren't going to be able to get anything done this year. It was going to be a first round exit if they didn't get another playmaker for Josh Allen, and Amari Cooper is exactly that. And right now, with how the deal worked out, he's going to be their cheapest receiver. Like the receiver that makes the least amount of money on their roster right now. And that's fucking crazy. Mac Hollins is on that roster. Curtis Samuel. Keon Coleman makes more money than him. It's just an insane fleece by the Buffalo Bills. But also Cleveland, in the deal to get Amari Cooper, in the deal to send Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills, they actually got more back than the Dallas Cowboys did when they sent him to Cleveland. They got a third-round pick and a late-round pick swap. The Cleveland Browns only had to give up a fifth-round pick to get Amari Cooper in that trade a couple of seasons ago. But Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills, one of the most elite route runners, and you give Josh Allen a go-to receiver now. Keon Coleman, there was a lot of pressure on him to be the best receiver in this room, and it really hasn't worked out. Keon Coleman, I think he's going to be a solid receiver, but now he could step back and be your second or third option. Shakir, he hasn't been healthy enough. He hasn't been consistent enough as your number one receiver. So you get a guy like Amari Cooper, who right now he's struggling with Cleveland this season. Statistics, the numbers, everything. It's probably one of the worst receivers in the NFL having that kind of season with Deshaun Watson, but that's more based on the situation. That offense is one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and Deshaun Watson's playing terrible. So getting him in a better situation, he's going to put up elite numbers once again. The season he had last year with Joe Flacco when he took over as quarterback one in Cleveland, elite. He went on an elite run. So Josh Allen having a playmaker like this is huge. It's setting up everything else in the offense. Shakir is going to be a great second option. Keon Coleman, a great third option. You have a lot more trust in this receiver room. It looks a lot better. Dawson Knox, Kincaid, those are guys that are going to get a little more impact, a little more success now having a guy that's going to draw attention away from them. So I think Amari Cooper is going to make an immediate impact these next couple games. For the rest of the season, I think he can put up 1,000 yards with Allen. Allen is a great deep ball thrower, and Cooper, he's going to stretch the fucking field. He's going to make plays. All the teams in the AFC are getting better. I'm glad Amari Cooper didn't go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this move is a lot better. Davante Adams went to the Jets, so teams in the AFC are getting better. I feel like those first four teams, Baltimore, Houston, Kansas City, and Buffalo, that's the cream of the crop of the AFC. The wild card is wide open. I think Amari Cooper is going to put up great numbers for the rest of the season with Buffalo. Him and Josh Allen are going to connect on an elite level. And I think he could be a guy that stays with Buffalo for the next couple years. He's on a contract year right now, 30 years old. He's going to have extra motivation to put up big numbers in Buffalo, and having an elite quarterback, getting out of that hell of whatever that situation was in Cleveland, playing with a quarterback like Josh Allen, who's playing at a high level right now, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, numbers-wise, and, in general. So it's going to be a great pairing, him and Amari Cooper. So really excited about this Buffalo offense, and this is exactly the move they needed to make. They made it exactly after the Jets got Davante Adams. Now, onto that move, Davante Adams with the Jets, people want to call them desperate for making this move. 2-4 right now. It's a slow start. This Jets offense has been struggling. Zach Wilson had a better record than Aaron Rodgers right now, and that offense was putting up better numbers than this offense. Nathaniel Hackett has been a terrible OC for the Jets, and they took play calling away from him and gave it to Todd Downing, and I thought the offense looked better against Buffalo. They had a chance. The defense, we know what we're getting with the defense. The defense is elite. That's why they promoted the defensive coordinator to head coach. The defense has been elite all season, and it's just, offensively, can they make every opportunity count every time they get the ball from the defense? No, they didn't. In the red zone, they struggled, besides a Hail Mary and that touchdown to Garrett Wilson, and they missed a lot of field goals. A lot of penalties took touchdowns off the board as well. So they're just not playing well. So a lot of things are getting in their way. But in terms of the red zone, Davante Adams can help with that. And I think Aaron Rodgers, we're seeing Lazard put up big numbers this year. He leads the NFL right now in receiving touchdowns. So when Rodgers has guys out there he could trust, offense looks better. They have more success. Garrett Wilson is putting up better numbers the last 2 weeks. 200-yard performances against Minnesota. He had 23 targets. So Rodgers is going to keep getting him the ball. Now having Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson could go in the slot and put up big numbers. And now you have Lazard, Garrett Wilson, and Davante Adams now to worry about. So this offense for the Jets, I think it's going to improve a lot. Offensive line is doing pretty decent. I think Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, that run game is going to get going too, having a threat. Davante Adams, he's going to help this offense get to where it needs to be for them to be in the playoffs, I think. I know they started 2-4 right now, but the schedule, there's a lot of winnable games for them. They have New England, they have Pittsburgh this Sunday night. I think they could beat Pittsburgh. Defense is going to keep them in the game, and Davante Adams, he's going to play Sunday night. And having him and Rodgers clicking, that connection, there's a lot to be said about that. Having Davante Adams in the game instead of Mike Williams, a guy that Aaron Rodgers hasn't connected with. He damn near blamed him for the loss in the press conference. I know Rodgers is a terrible teammate, not the best leader. But when he has guys in the locker room he could trust, this offense is going to look a lot better. I'm telling you. And Davante Adams, he's going to be fine. He's healthy, I think. Having an elite quarterback throw him the ball again, I just can't wait for Davante Adams to be that elite receiver we know and once loved. The numbers he was putting up in Green Bay, he was the best receiver in the league. With the Raiders, it's been a shit show. Gardner Minshew had some ass quarterbacks throwing him the ball. Damn near won that Baltimore game. Just him making plays, getting open, separation. That's another thing the Jets have been struggling with is getting separation, getting a guy that could get open, a guy that you could trust. And Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers is still building that connection. Lazard has been kind of that go-to guy a little bit sometimes. But now you have a guy that Rodgers trusts 100%. He's going to throw the ball to on a dot. In game-winning situations, he's going to get the ball to Davante Adams, and he's going to show up big. And Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson, that will be the best receiver duo in the NFL. I can't wait to see those two, work off each other. Davante Adams is going to help Garrett Wilson get to that next level, reach new heights as a receiver too. So, yeah. Davante Adams is a great teammate. People love playing with him, and having a player like that in the locker room is going to bring juice to this team and give this team exactly what they need to, go on a run, get things going. I think they win the next 2 games, New England, Pittsburgh. They're 4-4. They got some other games coming up. Buffalo versus the Jets, Week 17. That's going to be a must-see game. Amari Cooper on the Bills, Davante Adams on the Jets. Yes, these moves that happened yesterday, these are moves that are going to change the AFC for real. The Jets getting Davante Adams is a huge ass move. I can't wait to see Rodgers and Adams clicking on all cylinders again. Yeah, this receiver trio is pretty good now. It's up there, top 3 in the league. Lazard, Adams, Wilson, dangerous. And I'm interested to see if this move changes Hassan Reddick's mind. I know they granted permission for him to seek a trade, but if you bring him back, this defense is going to be even better. They're second in points allowed per game. Will McDonald, 7 sacks. He's at the top of the league in sacks right now, playing at a high level. Sauce Gardner, that back end's playing well. The linebackers are playing well. This defensive front is pretty solid. Defense has never been the issue for them, but if they could get Hassan Reddick in there on the mix on the opposite side of Will McDonald, hey, the Jets might be cooking for real, and they could really go on a run, potentially win this division. I think Buffalo getting Amari Cooper, though, is a better move, and Buffalo, that's the right guy to bring into that locker room. Not a diva receiver, a guy that's just going to ball out. Him and Josh Allen are going to connect from day one, I think. So Buffalo, I give them the edge right now to win the AFC East with the move like that. But the Jets, I think, will be a playoff team. The next receiver potentially that could be traded is DeAndre Hopkins. And with Tennessee, Will Levis throwing him the ball, how they've been looking this year, it's been a shit show. I think Will Levis has proven he's not the guy in Tennessee. So I think they could have a little fire sale going too. D-Hop, get him in the right situation, trade him to Baltimore maybe. Kansas City is a landing spot for him too. But I don't need to see Patrick Mahomes get DeAndre Hopkins. This is the year. The Chiefs, the downfall we've been waiting for. They can't go ahead and three-peat. Baltimore is looking really good too. I would want them to get that receiving weapon Lamar Jackson's never had a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins. Still at 32 years old, he could still be that guy, that go-to receiver in the playoffs too. He's not going to drop the ball. This is a guy that had multiple seasons where he had 0 drops. DeAndre Hopkins was like that in Houston. Arizona too, so he is one of the best we've seen in the NFL. So Lamar getting a weapon like that in this offense, Zay Flowers can be your second best option at receiver. Rashad Bateman's been playing well, so him as a third option too. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, that offense would be dangerous. You need to run the ball with Derrick Henry 25 times though. You get a receiver like D-Hop on the perimeter, whoo. Baltimore, that would solidify them as that best team in the AFC for real. And they would beat Kansas City. They would beat all these teams in the AFC. Houston, Buffalo, the Jets, all those teams. It wouldn't be a competition, I think, if they could get D-Hop. And they have the cap space to make it happen. Last year on his deal, contract year, another receiver trying to prove himself. Baltimore would be a really good spot for him, but Kansas City, obviously, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, he would solve a lot of their issues right now and a lot of their struggles offensively. And Andy Reid, he would be able to cook with, D-Hop. So would Patrick Mahomes. A guy like that that's going to come down with the ball every time, no matter what. Juju's been playing well. Kelsey's, improving his game, stepping up with Rashee Rice out and Hollywood Brown out. A lot of their guys out. Yeah. D-Hop, Kansas City or Baltimore, I think. Let me know down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Davante Adams and Amari Cooper trade. Which trade was the best? And let me know some other players you think that could be on the move soon next. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.